In this video, we are accessing, instrumenting, and obturating the root canal system of a relatively simple maxillary canine model 1101, difficulty factor 1.5. Please note the triangular opening we are making on the lingual surface. I am using a number 4 high-speed surgical length round burr to gain access. The transparent plastic of which these teeth are composed gives me the ability to demonstrate how the access is made, not only coronal-apically but mesiodistally, so we have more or less straight line access. After establishing access with the light brushing motion of the number 4 high-speed surgical length round burr, I judged that the canal dimensions allowed me to rapidly negotiate the length of the canal manually with a number 15 safe-sider. I use the incisal edge of the tooth as the reference point for the canal's length. In this case, the length of the canal was 25 millimeters. Note the way I used the number 15 safe-sider reamer. I use a short watch-winding motion with a small amount of apical force applied to negotiate through the length of the canal. At all times, the canal should be flooded with irrigant. In the case of these models, the irrigants are limited to the use of water in a 30-gauge syringe. Once the full length is attained and quantified, I take the same 15 reamer used initially manually in the canal and place it in the 30-degree handpiece oscillating at 3,000 to 4,000 cycles per minute and vigorously work all the walls, particularly those in the buccolingual plane. The effectiveness of using the number 15 safe-sider or any safe-sider used initially at high frequencies is demonstrated when the irrigant washes out the debris that was released from the canal walls by the oscillating reamers. Given canals with the broad buccolingual dimensions that are present in this tooth model, and given the shaving ability of the number 15 safe-sider just employed, I was able to easily skip the 20 safe-sider and go directly to the number 25 safe-sider. To further enhance its ability to remove tissue from the broader buccolingual walls, I placed a small 30-degree bend at the tip of the safe-sider and then used it in the 30-degree Endo-Express handpiece. This particular canal configuration provided very little resistance to gaining full length with the 25 safe-sider. I again skipped sizes going directly to the 35 safe-sider, again placing a small 30-degree bend at its tip. I finished the instrumentation using a number 40 safe-sider in the oscillating handpiece, again placing a small 30-degree bend at the tip. Note how clean the canals are after this type of action. Also note that it was the original canal anatomy that dictated where dentin was removed and, more importantly, where it wasn't. The shape of the canal is now more or less a larger version of the original canal anatomy. No more tooth structure is removed than is necessary for the effective removal of the pulp tissue. Once instrumented and irrigated, the canal is dried with paper points. In this case, we are adjusting a medium gutta-percha point and trial seating it in the canal so it has confirmed apical tugback at the correct length. I then extrude the easy fill epoxy resin cement onto a pad and create a long peak with the spatula. I adjust the applicator, the bidirectional spiral, so it is approximately 3 millimeters short of the apex, and load it with cement by placing it horizontally into the cement and pulling the applicator out at a 45-degree angle. I then apply the cement to the canal walls using the bidirectional spiral in a 5 to 10 millimeter up and down motion, purposely leaning against all the walls of the canal. I then apply the easy fill sealer to the gutta-percha and introduce the coated point into the canal with the excess cement extruding coronally and assuring a 3-dimensional fill using a single well-fitting point. After that, I remove the excess coronal cement, remove some coronal gutta-percha using the high-speed number 4 surgical length round burr, and then applying some apical pressure to the coronal portion of the gutta-percha. Please note how a single point, properly fit in combination with the easy fill epoxy resin cement, produces a three-dimensional seal along the length of the canal and is further confirmed by radiographs taken in the mesiodistal and buccolingual planes. This is a good tooth to start on. As general dentists, you will have a chance to work on many teeth with fairly simple anatomy. Nevertheless, you still want to debride the canal of all pulp tissue in both the mesiodistal and buccolingual planes while preserving as much tooth structure as possible. From a time efficiency point of view, 4 instruments were employed in a procedure that took a short period of time to produce. As will be stated again and again, the techniques that you are learning here virtually prevent the instruments from breaking and eliminate practically all hand fatigue.